What's up, people? It's your friendly neighborhood Tony, aka TTBurger 88, here once again with more game reviews, and we're continuing my two-part Spider-Man series review as we look at the two Spider-Man games on the PlayStation. This is episode 133, part 2 of 2. But I'm sure those of you who wonder who didn't see episode 133, part 1 of 2, would like to know what happened. Well, fear not, I got you covered here with a little TTBurger recap to show you all what you missed. In episode 133, part 1 of 2, I took a look at the original Spider-Man on the PlayStation, which released in the year 2000, and gave it a 9 out of 10 because the game was really easy, and the game was short, and the graphics and the cutscenes were not very good and stuff, but for the most part though, the game was fantastic, and it showed on how Spider-Man games were improving across the board here, and it's definitely worth owning in your collection. It was also released on the Nintendo 64, and the Dreamcast and the PC, so pick it up on any console because it's good no matter what. Now we're going to zoom ahead to the year 2001. This is around the time when the PlayStation 2 was already out, but this game here showed that there was still some life left on the original PlayStation, and it's a sequel to the Spider-Man game we had there, and we got it right here. This is Spider-Man 2, Enter Electro, released on October 19th, 2001 by Activision and Vicarious Visions. And like I said, this game was not released on the other consoles, this was exclusive. So let's get started here. Now, Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro is a great game, just like its predecessor, but it's not as great as its predecessor, to say the least. It does improve on a lot of things, but there are some things that it deproves on as well. I mean, it's still worth owning in your collection, don't get it wrong, but we'll talk about that later as time goes on. For the story here, we have a darker storyline from the previous game. The story continues after where the first game left off, where Dr. Octavius and his cronies are behind bars and the symbiote threat is over. But now a new threat has occurred. Electro has learned that Dr. Watts has created a device called the Bio-Nexus that can give any human being unspeakable power, and Electro has a plan to take the device for himself to bring the world to its knees and cause chaos in the world. It is a great story, it's a darker story, but keep in mind though, the story in Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro is not as memorable as its predecessor's story, and I don't know, I just really didn't care much for this story as much. I mean, it was still a great story, I just didn't really care for this one that much, is what I'm trying to say. This story also features characters like Sandman and Hammerhead too in this game as well, so that's really cool there. But now let's get back on track here. For the graphics, improved graphics and stuff. Still not the greatest graphics ever for the PlayStation, but they are better than its predecessor. The character models look more detailed and can animate better as well, especially in the cutscenes. The backgrounds look great still, but the lighting can be dark in certain levels, which is hard to see, and you're pretty much going to be wandering around trying to find where to go. And also the frame rate can slow down too at times as well. It's still a great looking game though, just aside from those small problems. For the sound is awesome once again. Great music, it has a variety of action tunes and rock tunes, stuff like that, and to keep the action of the game going. And also great voice acting once again from the actors, like the two cartoons, Spider-Man 1994 and Spider-Man Unlimited, with Reno Romano voicing Spider-Man again. And once again, it has Stan Lee, the creator of Marvel, as the narrator, and that's also badass as well. And the other sound effects, when the enemies are grunting and stuff like that, and you're throwing objects and stuff, also sound great, definitely. But let's get back in the topic here and talk about the gameplay. The gameplay improves on things, but it deproves on things at the same time. Once again, the game is simple. You play as Spider-Man, swinging through each level, taking down the bad guys, and doing anything the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man can do. You also have to solve puzzles in certain areas, which does up the challenge there. It once again makes you feel like you're Spider-Man saving the day. And of course you have power-ups once again that you can find, you can have a freeze web. I didn't mention this in the first game, you have power-ups like a flame web or freeze web and stuff, but here you can have electricity web where you can electrify your enemies and stuff, and it makes you feel like you're friendly neighborhood Spider-Man saving the day is what I'm trying to say. And the controls are smooth and very tight, work really well, and you have a lot of costumes to unlock here as well. And it's a fun game, definitely. I mean, it's not as good as the first game, but still, it's fun overall. But now we gotta talk about the bads. Once again, the game is shorter than its predecessor. You can beat this game in about 3 or 4 hours, and sure, it has a lot of replay value to it, but it's gonna be the same aside from the like certain powers of like the costumes and stuff. And the game, for the most part, is still easy. You can breeze the game no problem. But, however, there are a couple of frustrating parts in the game, and I'm gonna tell you them right now. First off, you have like this level where you have to disarm a bomb, and you need 4 colored key cards to disarm that bomb. The problem is, like, your compass that shows you like where to go, it doesn't give you an idea of where the key cards are at, because every time you play the level, the compass always points to where the bomb is at, and you can fail the level multiple times because of this. I mean, I like challenge here, but like I don't like running around trying to find where to go, because the bomb's on a time limit. You have like 2.5, 3 minutes or so, and it adds time each time you find a key card. But still, it's a pain in the neck trying to go all around the place looking for the enemies and stuff to like give you the key card, and it just wish they could have used the compass to help you a little more. And like, it's an interesting idea on paper, but just, yeah. And also, there was a level where you must stop this out-of-control airplane in this hangar from crashing and blowing up and hitting the walls. This is an interesting idea on paper, and it's a very cool idea. But you have to like destroy the barrels in the way and stuff, and you have to use your web as fast as you can. And like, you have to use your web as fast as you can in the last part, because the planets go around in circles and hit the walls. You gotta be very, very careful with the timing and stuff. Those are the only 2 parts that were frustrating though, but for the most part the game is just really easy and stuff. You can blow through with no problem. Now this next part here, a lot of people didn't like. They call this negative, but for me, I find this a positive, and I can see why they did this. They had to take out certain levels of this game because of the 9/11 attacks, because the game was being made around the time the 9/11 attack happened. And I do not blame them for that. People see this as a negative because of this, the game is very similar to its predecessor, but I do not see this as a negative because they want to avoid any connections to 9/11 in the game, and I think it was very smart of them to do that, definitely, because I would have done the same thing if I was making the game around the time 9/11 happened, stuff like that, because I wouldn't want any connections of that in the game. I think it was very smart. You gotta honor the victims of what happened there, and you should. And I don't blame Activision and Vicarious Visions for doing this, because it's about being smart and having a heart to all the people who died on 9/11, definitely. And I think it was very smart for them to do. So you guys get some points there for that, because that was very smart of you guys to do. But aside from that, though, there's not really much else to say about the game, except for like it's a great game. It just deproves, and it's just not as good as its predecessor, but it's still a great game overall. And my final thoughts here are: if you like the first Spider-Man game and you want some more and you can't get enough of the web swinging arachnid, then pick it up, because it's definitely worth it. The complaints I have with the game, I will not be giving it a perfect 10. It's going to get a lower score, but not as low of a score. Giving it an 8 out of 10 because of the problems, but it's still worth owning in your collection. And I definitely recommend picking both these games up, because they're fucking amazing Spider-Man games, only in your PlayStation collection, definitely. And that's it for episode 133, part 2 of 2, and those of you who like what you saw here and are new and just like want to see more videos, you know what to do. Subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and join my Discord group, TTBurger Gaming United, because we're always looking for more people to join, and the link's in the description below, so check it out if you can. And what will the next episode be, episode 134, bring? Well, you'll have to find out. And that's pretty much all I gotta say. This is the friendly neighborhood TTBurger, aka Tony. Peace and out, and have a great day, and see you all in the next episode.